who are implementing a wildlands project. In order to bring us down to Agenda 21, a regionalized America where property is collectivized and the UN Charter becomes implemented. What's interesting about the right-wing collectivists and the left-wing collectivists is they do agree on some things. They're both willing to use fraud to create a police state. They both approve of an interventionist foreign military policy where America embarks on wars without constitutional authorization via declarations of war. And they both approve of a government education policy that serves collectivist ends. Now, sure, each one wants to have the details ruled by them, but that's just a phony fight. The fight is over liberty and tyranny, not over which tyrant is in control. Back to the idea of collectivism. You see, the idea of the New World equity grows right out of the same principles that ran the Soviet Union for so long. And the economics of this New World Order grow right out of the policies of Mussolini and Hitler. You see, the emblem for sustainable development are three connecting rings. You'll see it on their documentation everywhere. And if you look at these Soviet councils that are all across America, they've always interposed three wings using these basic terms as their guiding light. But overlying the equity and the economy aspects of this is a big green blanket called the environment. And there we have the three connecting rings of the New World Order, or Sustainable Development, Agenda 21. A group of us citizens in Santa Cruz have formed, and our numbers are growing as people slowly begin to absorb the reality of what's affecting us. And we formed an organization called Freedom 21 Santa Cruz. And what we do is put out advanced bulletins periodically showing how the Soviet is being implemented in Santa Cruz, who's doing it, what they're up to. We do research analysis and provide documents on both the national, international, and local level to show how this is all linked. And we provide information on freedom sources. But what we're really trying to do is provide a model for other communities to begin to educate their own citizenry about how our freedom and our liberty hangs in the balance. So what's important is that you spread the word to your friends and that we move the dialogue forward in America about what our threat really is. At Freedom 21 Santa Cruz, we found our principles on the ideas of constitutional government, private property, family autonomy, and security for our nation. You see, liberty offers us a choice. The genuine political spectrum is not left-right, it is up-down. It is between liberty and tyranny. And the question you must ask yourself, and others must ask themselves, is do we want a life of our own, or are you satisfied in becoming a biological resource? In reviewing sustainable development, realize that it is a political movement to establish a global state collective. The sustainable developers use the mainstream environmental movement as a poisonous candy to steal America's land and consequently our freedom. Private property secures a healthier planet. Know that sustainable developers are establishing an American Soviet right under our noses. But finally, realize that the premise of the founding ideas of the United Nations and the United States are diametrically opposed. The foundational principles of the United States of America are facing a great threat. Posterity will long live with the consequences of the battle over sustainable development and the anti-human ideas that it represents. Sustainable development activists and supporters are often, but not always, unaware of the tyranny. That tyranny is the consequence of their environmental, social equity, and economic movement. Yet these dire circumstances also propel the greatest opportunity in history to advance individual liberty, human happiness, and genuine peace. As the Sustainable Development Initiative gains strength, and in the short term it will, it is wise to recall what George Washington said. Private property and freedom are inseparable. Freedom and a healthy planet are also inseparable. If Americans come to a timely understanding of the threat and face the challenge squarely, the deceptive fraud of sustainable development will quickly come to light. America will rise to restore liberty through an orderly transformation directed by reason and respect for the dignity of individual determination. We, you and me, are charged with protecting the ideals of liberty and private property. As the implications of sustainable development become clear, America's parents and grandparents will increasingly come to understand the consequences of eliminating private property. The circle sounding Paul Revere's warning is growing. Join in now, because the green coats are a-coming. Protect your property, protect your children, and protect the American experiment. Draw upon the heritage of American industriousness, the hope that springs eternally from Western civilization's culture, and the human spirit to expose sustainable development and advance freedom in the 21st century. Thank you. Long live freedom.